Hey viewers, please don't forget to subscribe if you like the channel. Let's go.
Hello, welcome to today's episode where we delve into some real-life incidents of infidelity. Just relax, buckle up and get ready to ride on this roller coaster of relationship stories. By the way, don't forget to comment your thoughts and advices to the OPs. Story 1. Healing after emotional infidelity. The OP faces the aftermath of his partner's emotional cheating and seeks advice on whether their relationship can survive and if therapy can help rebuild trust. Okay, let's listen to him. My 28M partner emotionally cheated on me. 25F. My partner 28M and I 25F have been together for 2 years. We currently live in a house he bought, but we considered it ours as we share the bills equally and we have 2 pets together. Prior to this we were on the exact same page with spending the rest of our lives together with marriage, kids, the works. We were also just about to sell his property in order to buy family house together. We genuine have great communication and it's the most supportive, loving and fulfilling relationship I've ever had, and before this situation happened, he's told me that he feels the same way. For timeline context, we've just gotten back from a 10-day overseas holiday last week. I got a message from a girl he used to see on Monday morning asking if we were together. I asked my partner about her and he said they used to hook up years ago, and that she'd added him on Snapchat 4 days into our holiday. He said they spoke briefly, then she sent him a few nudes to which he's then blocked and deleted her. I gently probed him for more information and gave him the space to tell me the full truth before I asked for the girl's side of the story. He kept adding bits to the story and following the screenshots and information I've received from her. The full story is he's added her and started the conversation. They've been speaking for 2 weeks, stated he was single, he's implied but not specifically requested for nudes, not that it makes much a difference, emo, sent a few back. He stated things to her about how he wished to be with her and couldn't believe she was single. He has commented on a previous sexual encounter of theirs in a reminiscent way and they had organized to meet at the drive-ins on Sunday night. They've both confirmed that he was the one to end the conversation a day before the meetup. He deleted the conversation and blocked her as he knew it was wrong and didn't want to speak to her anymore. He stated to me that he doesn't understand why he did it as he's the happiest he's been in a relationship and that he wanted a future with me, and is unsure why he jeopardized that for this. He said he liked the attention and the excitement of talking to her but couldn't pinpoint as to why he made the conscious decision to keep talking. However, stated that there was no sincerity in his words to her, that because of the fleeting nature of Snapchat it felt like he was pretending, that none of it was real and had no intentions of meeting her. He said he's had previous issues like this in past relationships with Snapchat and had deleted the app, but since we were going away and wanted to send photos of our trip to friends, and because he was so secure with us and he hadn't had the thought or temptation to cheat in our relationship, he thought he'd be safe to re-download Snapchat. My issues are what he said to her, despite him stating there wasn't any truth to what he was saying, whether he would have actually gone to meet her and let it get physical, and whether I would have found out from him if he hadn't have been put on the spot by this girl's message to me. Since finding out, we've had conversations about the finer details of what happened and finding a reason why. He's reassured me that I've been nothing but loving and devoted and that he wasn't feeling neglected or negatively about our relationship. I've suggested that he receives therapy to understand why this happened, why he didn't upfront tell me the truth when without me having to probe him for it, why it happened in previous relationships, and if he can change this pattern he's created. He's already made progress into organizing this himself in the last 2 days since it's happened. He said that I'm the most important thing in his life and has expressed genuine remorse and regret for his actions, not just that he's gotten caught. He said he wants to figure out why he did this to make sure it never happens again, and that he's willing to do everything and anything to keep me in his life. I've since moved out of our house to give myself space and I have no plans of moving back in unless I'm certain this won't happen again. Or I'll retrieve the rest of my things if I decide to break the relationship off. My biggest concern is if he truly valued me and the relationship we had, that he would have never done this and whether he would have continued to speak to her and eventually meet up. It also concerns me that if he felt that nothing he said was true or real to him and only felt a bit of excitement when chatting to her, then why would he jeopardize the great life we built and were building together? I'd like advice on if this is something you could get over or have gotten over in the past. If so, are you guys in a good place now? If it's worth staying after cheating, and does that broken trust come back? Do we have a break while he gets therapy, provided he does go and actively tries to understand and improve himself and see if it's worth restarting our relationship? Or do I break things off and look for a partner who wouldn't do this to me? Dear viewers, let's listen to our community of support and understanding. Everyone's perspective is valuable and deserving of a listening ear. So let's listen to what other people want to say to this OP. Commenter 1 says this. I would call it quits. He exchanged nudes, so that's simply not emotionally cheating. You will always wonder if he is hiding something. It's not worth the stress to stay in this relationship. You're still so young and have plenty of time to find a trustworthy partner. I didn't meet my now husband until I was 28. Don't waste time on a cheater. Commenter 2 wanna say this. That's not emotional cheating, that's sexual cheating. Emotional cheating is when you open up to and rely upon someone for your emotional needs outside of your romantic partnership. You build a close bond with someone. This is my advice to this OP. Dude, I wanna say this to you. You're only 2 years in and he did this. Not that a longer relationship would justify anything, certainly not, but it just shows how quickly things have gone off the rails and for him to reveal his true self. He broke things off without getting physical with her, but he lied to her about his relationship status, and lied to you until you had the truth of everything from the woman. None of this is good. While there was no physical affair, I would consider this to be the same kind of betrayal. I would suggest that there is no guarantee that this won't happen again, and it would take a long time, and a great effort on his part, to rebuild trust. And how can you come to trust your BF again? This is a huge betrayal. Story 2. Okay. Here goes. Just before Thanksgiving I asked my girlfriend of 4 years to marry me. She said yes, and it was magical. There is a significant age gap, 16 years, and me being a single dad has always been a bit of an issue, but we had seemed to have overcome it. I admit that I am overweight and not the most attractive man. She has always been with me for being kind, caring, charismatic, and as she puts it, the perfect boyfriend. Before anyone jumps to conclusions, she has a good job, and pays her own way, so it is not a money thing. We had known each other a long time and the relationship built from friendship to love. The age bothered me at first, but I got over it. I never wanted to think I was having a midlife crisis. Everything was great. I had never seen her so happy. The sex was better than ever, the relationship was what I would call magical. I could not wait to live the rest of my life with her. Then, she goes on a girls' trip every year with her mom to an exotic locations. This was planned months before we got engaged. No big deal. We have been each other's best friend, confidant, and overall support. The relationship is good, and we always have brutal honesty to keep us in line. She has done these trips every year I have known her, and never any issues. Always in contact, I have always trusted her. I go on a lot of business trips, and know she trusts me. So, she goes, and spends a few days in an exotic location. I won't say where as I am trying to stay as anonymous as possible. This is the first time she has a tour guide. Well, long story short, she gets a crush on this young muscle-bound tour guide dude. We all get crushes, it is what you do with them. Over the course of her time there, he flirts and calls her beautiful, and shows her the secret cool sights, always with the group. I won't get into a ton more detail. Other than to say on the last night there, he makes a pass at her, she is a bit drunk. He kissed her, she went to the other side of the rooftop lounge they were on, but did not leave. Eventually he comes to her and there is a couple more kisses, closed mouth as she put it, and cuddling, and he groped her, she pushed him away. And she admits a massive sexual attraction. She said she felt high from it. But eventually she does the right thing, and leaves before it goes the way it could have gone. I understand travel highs, and I understand the desire to be wanted. It still does not make it right. I am not making excuses for her, just saying I understand the feelings. We talk on her last day in that country, and I can tell she is off. I press a little, and she breaks down and admits everything above. Swears that that is all that happened. She feels remorseful, sad, regret, can't eat and can't sleep. She tells me every detail that I ask about. Offers to take a lie detector test so I know that is all that happened. She was in tears and I know her well enough to know she was being sincere as she cried and told me that she understood if I wanted to leave her. She told me that she told him that it was wrong, and she did not want to throw away 4 years for 8 days. And walked away. I won't make excuses for her, but I am sure this guy probably does this all the time. Picks 1 or 2 women from the group, tries hard to make them feel special in this exotic, romantic country, and on the last night shoots his shot, knowing he will never see them again. None of that makes her actions okay. The day she told me, she blocked him on all media, deleted any trace of him, pictures, messages, etc., after telling him that she knew she did wrong and wanted to be honest with me and try to work it out. I was of course devastated. I didn't want to throw years away for a mistake. And I truly think this was a one-time thing. I know she feels terrible. That is not an act. She hates that she made me feel less than, and tells me that she will never go on a trip without me again. Will never put herself in that situation again. I have forgiven her and have attempted to move on. I know it took a lot for her to tell me. And it most likely took a lot to walk away that night. I still felt like I got punched in the heart, and that maybe I would never be enough. I do know my worth. And I logically know I am enough. I knew that when I saw her, I would know if there was more. She came home 2 days later and I picked her up at the airport. I could see the despair on her face. We spent a weekend talking, crying, making love, and every day since have been working to strengthen and rebuild the bond. I am 99.99% sure that she is telling me everything. Can we ever be 100% about anything in life? She let me go through her phone and computer, and has offered to let me do so anytime. I told her I wouldn't. But I did when she was asleep. Because trust. Nothing. No trace, no pictures, no texts, emails, search history that would show she has doubts. Her search history was stuff like, will he ever forgive for cheating, and, is kissing cheating, as well as a lot of articles in regards to rebuilding broken relationships. I still have triggers that make my heart ache. And trying to sleep without thinking of her on a romantic rooftop being held by another man, is nearly impossible. It has gotten better. I have learned to tell myself, sleep stories, to redirect my thoughts. The wedding date is set, and she has done everything and more that I have asked of her. But the trust is now a thing. I don't know if it would have been better if she just kept it from me, and had her little secret for the next 30 years of marriage. Even though I forgave her, I am still disappointed in her, it still hurts every day. I know it is not as bad as many of you have dealt with, but she has been my rock, and my best friend, for years. I had a terrible divorce years ago. My ex was a serial cheater, and I thought I would never deal with this again. I truly love her. When we are together, it is great. But we still live apart, and only see each other on the weekends, so it gets hard when I am alone. I get caught in terrible, despair loops. We video chat daily, text throughout the day, and I know that we will live together in just a few months. But wonder, will I ever truly get past these feelings? On a positive note, it made me rethink my diet and health, and I am losing significant weight, getting healthy, and feeling more positive about a long life. Thanks for listening. I didn't have anyone else to tell. Let's listen to few comments. Commenter 1 says, serious question. So why are you here? OP replies, I have been here since D-Day. I tried to post then, but the moderators would not let me as a new account with no karma. The group has been very therapeutic for me. Commenter 1 replies, it appears you have decided to stay with her. Rug sweep the affair. Plus she has faced zero consequences at least from you. I think you just answered your question. Seek IC for yourself and call off the wedding at least for the time being. OP replies, consequences. I did not get into detail about what she is doing. But I will say there have been some. It has not been an easy road for her. But she is putting in the work. Man, this is my advice to you. With time it will get better, these things always will. The inherent trust though that you have with her though is now irrevocably broken, probably not completely broken, but as you now see with your own behavior in doing things like going through her phone, that 100% trust you had is now gone. But again, over time you too will build it back up, but you have to allow yourself the grace to let it rebuild. It'll happen if you let it, but you have to let it. You know though that what you are going through is a process and that you will have your triggers. Deal with those and you should be right. Story 3. Our relationship had been kinda rocky for the last half a year, but we'd been together for 7 years. I was hanging out with some of the guys, she was at a rather large party nearby. When me and the guys were done hanging out, me and one of the guys went to the party. My plan wasn't to stay long, I just wanted to swing by, have a beer, say hi to my fiancée, get on home. When we arrive I see her outside playing beer pong, being very drunk. They had started early that day and it was past 1 AM at this point. Now, that girl could drink, she could just keep on going if she wanted, consuming amounts of alcohol that would leave me dead 7 or 8 times over. So, it wasn't the first time I had seen her this shit-faced, and while she seemed happy to see me, something made all my alarm bells go off. I don't know what it was, something was just way off about her to me. I left the party after the 1 beer, said goodbye to my fiancé and walked the 20 minutes walk home. I went to bed and tried to sleep, but didn't get much, I just felt something was off. At around 10 o'clock when I gave up trying to get any more sleep, she still hadn't come home. I check Facebook and notice an hour-old post from the party organizer that the club have been cleaned. Which I know includes using a very loud carpet cleaning machine. The club is a role-playing club with approx 450 members, if you were curious. A couple of hours later, she returns home and to me she radiates guilt. She says that she spent the night at the club, just woke up and took her bike home. She was obviously hungover and wanted to sleep some more. I expressed that I was kinda mad and disappointed. She knows that she ought to text me her whereabouts if she don't come home for the night. At this she gets very mad, snaps at me, I just feel asleep, okay, and she went to bed. I called the party organizer and told her a lie about my fiancé still not having come home and asked if she knew anything. She told me that she had seen my fiancé leave the party sometime around 03:04 a.m., alone with her bike. Desperate to know more, what had she been doing? So I did something that I'm very much not proud of. I took out her laptop and logged on her Facebook. The most recent messenger conversation was with a guy that I knew had also been at the party. It had occurred at around 3:30, and went something like this. Her, it was really nice seeing you again. Him, yeah, you too. Her, look, I haven't done this as years, but do you mind if I come by? Him, sure, come on by. Her, you are not getting sex, I'm on my period. Him, okay. I then called the guy, after finding his number online, and he answered. We talked, I was calm and collected. I didn't really blame him, we never interacted, we were not friends, and it was clearly her that offered herself up to him. He told me they had been cuddling naked and kissing, when she decided that she wanted to have sex anyway. She normally hated having sex while on her period, and she was in fact on it at the time. So, when she woke up I made sure she got some food in her and I sat down to talk with her. Told her that I didn't believe her story about sleeping at the club, since they had posted about it being cleaned 3 hours before she got home and she couldn't have slept through the carpet cleaning. And wouldn't have been allowed to stay after the cleaning was done. Then she copped to the fact that she had been so drunk that the 20 minutes walk, 5 minutes bike ride was too much and she had stayed at a friend's house. Which friend? I asked. She told me the name of the guy. And did anything happen? I asked. No, nothing happened, I slept on the couch, she answered. Then I admitted to having read her Facebook conversation with him and finding it hard to believe that nothing had happened after drunk her had felt it necessary to warn him about her being on her period. She stuck to her story, claiming nothing had happened, and at this point she was starting to get mad. She said sorry for forgetting to text me, but nothing had happened. That's when I told her that I had already talked to the guy, and that his story didn't quite match hers. At this, all the anger that had started to build up in her evaporated and she couldn't look at me. She went to her mother's place and about a week later she came by and we had a civil talk about splitting our stuff and finances. She moved in with her mom for a few months until she got her own apartment. I stayed behind in our apartment. Our relationship had been rocky for a while and I think that she felt stuck in a rut for a multitude of reasons. She didn't know how to handle it and then she self-sabotages, throwing her life in an upheaval. I've seen her do it before we were an item. Knew her for 15 years or so before we started dating. We are cordial when we meet. I still think fondly of her. We had some good, nice, sexy, hilarious, warm and loving years, but looking back there was probably a couple of places where we should have ended it before she exploded. I think I handled it pretty well in the situation, not proud of having logged on her Facebook, but every nerve in my body told me something was off and I just had to know. I cried a lot during the next couple of days. I was fucking devastated, but infidelity is something that I just can't accept. And with the other issues we had recently, I've never doubted my decision to end it, but I was still a fucking wreck for a solid week or two. So my friends, as we listen to the personal stories of others, we open ourselves up to a world of new perspectives and a deeper understanding of the diverse experiences that shape our world. These stories have the power to inspire us and offer opportunities for growth and self-improvement through shared experiences. Join our community on this enlightening journey by subscribing to our channel and continue to expand your horizons with us. Thank you for being a part of this enriching experience.